Hello students, welcome to engineering geology classes. In today's class we will start with aquifer parameters. So we have discussed what is an aquifer. Aquifer is a water bearer. It is a Latin word. The meaning is water bearer. So it is a large body of permeable material where the groundwater is present in the saturated zone. That is called as an aquifer. So there are different types of aquifers we have seen, that is confined and unconfined aquifer. Now in today's class we will discuss what are the aquifer parameters. So an aquifer which stores the water, it has the ability to store and transmit the water. So we know the groundwater, whatever is available as a source of water in the form of well or bore well, dug well, okay, we can extract the groundwater. So that water which is present as a underground water has the ability to store the water and to transmit the water from one place to other place. So the quantity of water that is stored and released by an aquifer, it depends on what? It depends upon the nature and composition of the aquifer, which are quantified with certain parameters like porosity, permeability, specific yield, specific retention, storage coefficient and transmissivity. So these are all called as the aquifer parameters on which the properties of aquifer depends. Okay, so the quantity or amount of water which aquifer can store and release, that depends upon all these parameters. Those are called as aquifer parameters. So these properties, they control the entrance of water into the water bearing formations or rock. So there are different types of rocks like igneous rock, sedimentary rock, metamorphic rocks, and they have the different structures present in them like joints, cracks, then folds, faults. So all these structures and the properties of rock, they affect the presence of water in them. So we'll start with the first property, that is the porosity. So what is the porosity? So the definition is, porosity is the ratio of volume of voids or the pores in a soil mass to its total volume. So that is the definition of porosity. So it is a measure of interstices or voids present in the rock formation. So what is that? Porosity means whatever pores present in the rock, okay, the ratio, it is defined as the ratio of how many voids are present, volume of those voids or the pores which are present on the rock to the total volume of the rock mass or the soil. So that is called as the porosity. So the symbol for porosity is neta, N. Okay, so it is expressed in percentage, so it doesn't have any unit. Okay, so porosity is a decimal fraction, so it is expressed in percentage, it will not have any unit. So porosity, it may be primary porosity or secondary porosity. So primary porosity means what? It is the pores which are formed during the formation of the rock, and secondary porosity, that is developed subsequently after the formation of a rock because of the various natural processes which are acting on the earth's surface. So here the formula for porosity is N is equals to VV, that is VV stands for volume of voids, that is VV, volume of voids, divided by V, that is the total volume of the rock or the soil, into 100. So that is because it is expressed in percentage. So that is the formula for porosity. N is equals to volume of voids divided by the total volume of the rock or the soil into 100. So this is the porosity. So the porosity, it ranges from 1% to 70% depending upon the voids which are present in the rock. So porosity of an aquifer is equal to N, that is N is equals to Ne plus Nr. So here Ne stands for the specific effective porosity, that is nothing but the specific yield, and Nr stands for the specific retention. So if you combine these, you will get the porosity. So we will see the definition later. So if the rocks are unconsolidated, that is it is not converted into complete hard rock, then the porosity in such rocks it is more. If it is unconsolidated material, then the porosity depends upon the extent of spacing between those sediments, then the pattern of fracturing and the nature of solution channels which are present in the rock. Then the porosity also depends upon the shape, size and packing of the grains that affect the porosity of the material. So here are the few values which will tell the porosity of common formations. Like you can see here, the clay is very fine, particles will be present in the clay. So it is a fine grain material. So the porosity is 45 to 55. So it is porosity is 45 to 55 in clay. If you take sand, it is 35 to 40%. If it is gravel, it is 30 to 40%. Then if it is sand and gravel combined, then it is 20 to 35%. If it is sandstone, it is 10 to 20%. If it is shale, it is 1 to 10%. And if it is limestone, again it is 1 to 10%. So these are the porosities of few of the materials which are existing on the earth. So what does porosity depends upon? So a uniformly graded sand, like here you can see there is a coarser particles which are present here, okay, and it is uniform. So if a rock or the material is made up of uniformly graded sand, then the porosity is more. You can see here the water is present, that is more, okay. And if you see this image, the second image here, it is a mixture of both coarse as well as the fine grained materials. So because of this presence of fine grained materials, that is it is unequal, so it will have a wider range of sediments which are coarse as well as fine, then the porosity will be less. So wider the range in size, lower is the porosity. Then in less uniform or fine or coarse mixture of both coarse and fine grain, then those fine grain particles, what happens with them? They occupy the voids which are present in between the two coarse materials. So that is why the porosity will be reduced if it is mixture of both coarse and fine grained material. Then the arrangement of grains also affect the porosity, that is the packing of the grains. Like there are different types of packing, like here in the image you can see here there are 4 particles, okay, which are well rounded and they are arranged in a square packing, whereas in the second image you can see the packing, that is a rhombic packing, okay. So which will have more porosity? Here you can see because of the roundness this portion is more, and here because of the rhombic pattern, okay, rhombic packing, the porosity is less, right? So in square packing the porosity is higher, that is 48%, while in the rhombic pattern or rhombic packing it is less, that is around 26%. So packing of the grains which are present in the rock or soil, that also affects the porosity of the material. So here are few more examples wherein you can see the porosity, if it is well sorted material, then you will have more porosity, right? If it is poorly sorted, like in the third here you can see it is mixture of both coarser and fine grained materials, right? So it is poorly sorted and this is very poorly sorted, so the porosity is very less. Okay, so like this, if it is well sorted sediments, okay, the porosity will be more. If it is mixture of both coarse and fine, the porosity will be less, right? Then if there are cracks in the rock formations, right, here are the fractures, then again the porosity will be more, right? So because the water will percolate through these cracks or openings and water will flow. So this is how the porosity of the material depends upon. Then the next property is permeability. So permeability and porosity, they are related, right? So permeability is defined as what? The property of the soil which permits the flow of water through it. So it is the property which will allow the water to flow through that material, the flow, okay? In porosity, how much amount of water is stored in those pores, that is called as porosity. Now here the water is flowing through those pores, so these pores are interconnected, then only porosity will be more. So permeability will be more. So permeability is defined as the property of soil which permits the flow of water through it. So the ease with which the water can flow through soil, that is called as the permeability. So if the soil is highly pervious, then the water can flow with in such soil very easily, like for example gravels which are bigger in size, okay, the particle size is bigger, then the flow also will be easy through those because the porosity and permeability is more. So in an impervious soil where non-porous, or here in the image you can see here the packing is very close, okay, there are no pores at all, but here there are pores but they are not interconnected. Here there are pores and they are interconnected. So you can see the difference. This is porous and permeable. So here you will find both porosity and permeability, whereas in this there are pores, okay, water is present in those pores but it is non-permeable. So that is how the porosity and permeability are related. So in an impervious soil, the permeability is very low and the water cannot flow easily through such soil, that is clay. Clay is an example for impervious soil which is very fine grained, which will not have pores, so the porosity will be less. Then the rocks are impermeable. So the rocks, if they are impermeable, then the permeability is low, then we call the rocks are impermeable. So here you can see one example which will tell a clear idea about the permeability. So here in this tube there are gravels, here there is a sand, here there is a silt, and here there is a clay. So what these materials are, they are in the decreasing order of their grain size. So here it is bigger size, sand is finer, silt is still finer, and clay is very fine. So here you can see in all the containers the same water is poured. So if the same amount of water is poured into all those, so here it takes 2 minutes to come out from this tap, okay. So that is the permeability. Because of the porosity and permeability, it is taking 2 minutes. Here the sand which will have porosity but less permeability, so it takes 20 minutes. Silt is again finer, so it takes 2 hours, and clay which is very fine, it will take almost 2 days to pass through that material. So this is how the porosity and permeability affect the properties of rock. So permeability is very important engineering property of soil. So the knowledge of porosity and permeability is very much essential because it will cause settlement of buildings. The yield of the well depends upon these porosity and permeability, right? How much water a well can yield, okay, that is called as the yield of the well. Then seepage through and below the earth structure, that also depends upon the porosity and permeability. Then earth pressure, then uplift pressure under hydraulic structure. So these are all the factors which affect the permeability. So here is one more similar example. You can see, right, the porosity and permeability. Here all the grains are very fine, close to each other, so the porosity is almost nil, right? So the permeability is also absent here. Then here you can see the pores are not interconnected, but there is a porosity, but there is no permeability. So here again the coarser grained, and here it is a mixture of both coarse and fine. So if you pour water in such combination of sediments, then you can see here this with low porosity, okay, which will get filled first. So this will be first because here the porosity and permeability will be more, okay. Then this one, the second with porosity but less permeability, and here there is no porosity and permeability but the grains are equal, so this will be third. And the last one with mixture of all coarser and finer sediments, okay. So this will explain how the porosity and permeability will affect the properties of rock. The next property is specific yield. So yield is whatever water we are able to extract, okay. So how much water is able to get from that aquifer, that is a specific yield. So the definition of specific yield is, it is the ratio of the volume of water that drains from a saturated aquifer by the attraction of gravity to the total volume of the saturated aquifer. So what is the specific yield? So it is the volume of the water that will drain from a saturated aquifer. Saturated aquifer is the aquifer which contains water, okay, it is full of water, and whatever water is draining from that aquifer by the attraction of gravity to the total volume of the saturated aquifer, that is called as the specific yield. So SY, that is the symbol for specific yield. So SY is equal to WY by V. So WY stands for the volume of water that drains by gravity, and V is the total volume, that is again multiplied by 100. So again it is a unitless, okay. So it is expressed in percentage. So this specific yield is the water removed from unit volume of aquifer by pumping or drainage, and it is expressed as percentage volume of the aquifer. So whatever water we are able to extract from a aquifer through pumping, okay, that is called as the specific yield. So this specific yield, it depends upon again the grain size, that is whether it is a coarse grained or fine grained, then what is the shape, whether they are well rounded or they are angular fragments, and the distribution of the pores, whether they are interconnected, okay, or whether the smaller particles are mixed in or they are present in between the pores, okay, and the compaction of the formation, degree of compaction. So these all factors, they affect the specific yield of a well. So here in the image you can see the specific yield, okay. So whatever water is percolating through this saturated formation, okay, so here there is a rapid drainage. This is a gravel, okay. There are different materials in this image. So first one, there are gravels. Here it is a fine sand which is present, and here is the clay is again very fine grain, okay. So what will happen with the water which is flowing in such materials? So suppose for example gravel, the water is draining down by the action of gravity, so there is a rapid drainage. You can see the droplets, okay. That is the specific yield, okay, the volume of water which is drained by the gravity to the total volume of the aquifer. So if it is gravel, it is more. Here it is fine sand. So fine sand, because of the fine grain nature, the porosity will be less, so specific yield is again less. You can see here the water is more, but the water which is draining down by the action of gravity, that is comparatively less. So that is a moderate drainage. Then here you can see the specific yield in case of clay. Clay is a very fine material where the porosity and the permeability is less because of the fine grain nature. So you can see how much water is drained by the clay material. So the specific yield is very slow, or there is no drainage, you can say. So this is the specific yield. So again the definition is what? The volume of water that drains from a saturated aquifer by the attraction of gravity to the total volume of the saturated aquifer. So here you will get a clear idea of what is meant by specific yield. So the next definitions we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you.